BPKH or Hajj Fund Management Agency is the institution that manages the finances related to Hajj. Hajj financial management is based on the principles of Sharia, prudence, benefits, non-profit, transparency, and accountability. According to Law Number 34 of 2014 on Hajj Fund Management, the Hajj Fund Management Agency is an independent public legal entity and responsible to the President through the Minister. Next one is the purpose of establishment. The first one is to improve the quality of the Hajj pilgrimage organization. Second one is to increasing the rationality and efficiency of using the cost of Hajj utilization. And the third one is to increase the benefits for the well-being of the Muslim. The next one is about the legal framework. So the first one is the job and function of BPKH. So their job is to do Hajj fund management. It includes planning, implementation, accountability, reporting, and supervision of the Hajj fund. So their function is, first one is to planning the revenue, development, and expenditure of Hajj fund. Second one is conducting the revenue, development, and expenditure of Hajj fund. The third one is controlling and supervising the revenue, development, and expenditure of Hajj fund. And the last one is reporting and accountability for the revenue, development, and expenditure of the Hajj fund. The next one is about the details of the function. So to carry out the accountability and reporting, the executive board job is to, first one, to prepare performance report and financial statements on a monthly, quarterly, semester, and annual basis. The second one is to prepare an accountability report of Hajj fund management. The supervisory board job is to, first, to monitor and evaluate the Hajj fund management. Second one is to approve the policy formulation, strategic plans, work plans, and annual budget for Hajj fund management. The third one is to provide assessment and consideration on the accountability report on the implementation of Hajj fund management and BPKH management prepared by the executive board. Next, planning includes, first one is policy formulation, strategic plans preparation, and work plan and annual budget preparation. And the implementation includes revenues, expenditures, and the wealth. Next is about the authorities and rights of BPKH. So the first one is the authority. First one is placing and investing Hajj fund in accordance with the principles of Sharia, prudence, security, and return. And second one is collaborating with other institutions in managing Hajj fund. So the rights is BPKH has the rights to obtain operational funds for organizing Hajj fund management program derived from the return of the Hajj fund. Next one is their obligation. The first one is managing Hajj funds in a transparent and accountable manner for the greatest interest of Hajj pilgrims and well-being of the Muslims. The next one is providing information through the media about the performance, financial condition, and wealth and its development on a regular basis every 6 months. Third one is providing information to the pilgrims about the BPKH return and or special cost of Hajj through the virtual accounts of each pilgrim. Next one is conducting accountancy process in accordance with the applicable accounting standards. The next one is reporting the Hajj fund management periodically every 6 months to the Minister and the House of Representatives or DPR. Next one is conducting settlement of the return of BPKH deposit and or special BPKH periodically to the virtual account of each Hajj pilgrim. And the last one is returning the balance difference between BPKH deposit and or special BPKH of BPKH determination and or special BPKH of current year to the Hajj pilgrims. And next one is about board selection mechanism. So the institution's board of directors are chosen through presidential decree, specifically the Decree of President Republic of Indonesia number 74P of 2017.
As the name suggests, BPKH provides services of managing Hajj fund for Indonesian Hajj pilgrims. BPKH has several revenue streams including initial deposit of BPIH and special BPIH, final settlement of BPIH and special BPIH, Hajj fund yield income, efficient funds for organizing pilgrimage, and perpetual trust fund or DAU and or other legal and non-binding sources. BPKH is required to provide reserve fund equivalent to twice the cost of Hajj, meaning that the fund invested in the current year will be covered with these reserved funds. As a result, BPKH can still be carried out in the critical condition in which the funds invested suffer losses. The cost structure of BPKH includes business development, BPIH payment, office overhead cost, and legal and administrative. According to the Article 26 of the Government Regulation of the Republic of Indonesia, number 5 of 2018, Hajj fund investments can be performed in the forms of securities, gold, direct investment, and other investments. All types of investments are conducted in accordance with the Sharia principles by considering the aspects of financial safety, prudence, return, and liquidity. In addition, Hajj fund investment shall be carried out by optimizing risk management. Do you know that the real cost of Hajj pilgrimage is around 72 million rupiah for every pilgrims, while each pilgrim only pay for 35.2 million rupiah? Then, where is the fund for covering the required Hajj pilgrimage real cost? The rest of the Hajj cost is subsidized from the return of developing the initial deposit around 35 million rupiah of the departing pilgrim and pilgrims on the waiting list.
For the BPKH financing, they have what they call Haji funds or saldo dana haji, which saw an increase about 10.6% up from 2018 and 2019, which saw their funds increase from 112 trillion to 124 trillion. Meanwhile, the realization and the plans to use the Haji funds have been realized about 101%, meaning it's a surplus about 1% from their original plans. Moving on to the operational report, which saw their revenue about 7 trillion in 31st December 2019 versus the expenses report of 14 trillion in 31st December, which saw a deficit of the execution of the Haji activity about 6 trillion in rupiah. Moving on, they have two instruments to grow their money on. It's called the Haji Instrument Funds. They currently place about 70 trillion in form of non-bank investment, while about 54 trillion in bank investment, which means that the two instruments will grow their money regardless where they are put. But as we all know, the investment in non-bank is very promising rather than being put in a bank with low interest. Moving on, BPKH's liquidity ratio is at 3.76 times, meaning BPKH can pay off a short-term debt about 3.76 times. Meanwhile, the debt ratio is reported to be at 96.3%, all in all with their ROI of 6.23%, meaning BPKH's ROI is in a good position of the returns of investment that they make. And finally, the cost-to-income ratio is reported to be at 2.4%. The good indicator will be that the closer it is to 1%, the better it is that the company is managing its costs. Moving on, the regulation that governs BPKH's Haji funds is regulated under Undang-Undang Republik Indonesia Number 34 of the year 2014 about the management of the Haji funds. The main point is that the funds that have been gathered by BPKH can be used to execute a quality, effective, efficient, transparent, and accountable Haji activities. It can also be increased by the means of other investments that the BPKH can execute on. The next one is the Peraturan Pemerintah Republik Indonesia Number 5 of the year 2018 about the execution of the Undang-Undang Number 34 of the year 2014 about the management of the Haji funds. And finally, the Peraturan Presiden Republik Indonesia Number 110 of the year 2017 about the Badan Pengelola Keuangan Haji or the BPKH itself. It is stated here that the President acknowledged the use and the role of the institution in managing and controlling the Haji funds to be used from henceforth. This regulation is released into the near future.